Hi, and welcome to this brief tutorial on how to use the title block and the parts list title block that you'll find on Blackboard. Now, I've produced these two title blocks so that we can put our drawings into them and start using a proper layout on our drawings. Now, I haven't started up AutoCAD yet, I'll just let it start there, but you can see I've got the two drawings there just underneath the AutoCAD startup. And those are the ones I've just got them on my desktop. You could equally have them on your thumb drive, and those are the ones I'm going to be pulling into the drawing. Now you can see that I've been working on the title blocks when I created them, but I'm just going to start a drawing, and that's the important part. Now I say that's the important part because if you look for other videos regarding importing a title block, they'll probably ask you to bring in a title block or use one of the ones that's created on AutoCAD. And if you do that, what will happen is it won't drop into the model space, and it won't even go into one of these two layout spaces. It will come in as a separate tab down the bottom, and then you have to import the model and everything onto the title block, and then you've got the problems of resizing it because it will go inside this little frame here. And it can be a bit of a nightmare, and it can be really long-winded. It can be done, don't get me wrong, and people do it all the time, but really in 8 weeks we haven't got time to go in the ins and outs of actually putting title blocks down. So I wanted to use this technique, which is the easy way, and I'm sure you'll appreciate that. But before I do anything, let me just go in and make sure my screen is set up. So my snap is on, my dynamics, both the UCS and the import are off. My tabs are up there, and the only thing I really need to do, like normal, is make sure that I'm live on my command bar, then Z space A. So Z space A, zoom all, and you'll see that the grid resizes. Now, the reason why I created the title block was because, yes, you can download these templates, and as I said, it's not just because they're long-winded, but I'd really like us to be able to print out on the printer in the hallway. Now, the printer in the hallway, the largest paper that actually has is 17 by 11, which is a B size. Now, I've searched high and low right the way across the AutoCAD sites and all the other little AutoCAD help sites and places, and search for templates of a B size, and I basically can't find one. So I had to create the template, and I've done that just with normal lines and rectangles and text. So I've copied a very generic format, and then we're going to import that because I've saved it as a block, so we can import it over the top of any drawing that you draw, and then you can position the parts inside of the drawing block and just hit print, and it should be good to go. So let's get started. Now, you know from the lessons we've had so far that our generic paper size is 12 inches across and 9 inches high. Now, a B-size piece of paper is 17 by 11. So we're going to have to change the size of our virtual paper. And the way that we do that is go to the command line and type in limits. That's LIMITS, then hit enter. Now you can see that the limits at the moment are 0, 0 on the lower left, so we hit enter on that, and they're 12 by 9 as a default. So we want to change that, so we type in 17, 11 and just hit enter. Now you won't see an immediate change, but you will if you do a Z space A again. You'll see they get a little bit smaller, so it's basically zoomed out a little bit, and it would if it's going from 12 up to 17. Okay, so our paper set, we've now got a 17 by 11 virtual drawing space. All we really have to do now is to import one of those blocks, and then we can look at how to edit the block. So we go to insert, that's the insert tab up here on the top bar. So if I click that, you'll see that this whole left region here are all about blocks, and if I click that downward, you can see that there's a few little bits there. There's another downward caret, but all we really need to do is to click this insert block. So I've clicked that now, And now I'm going to browse for the block. And you can see this is my desktop, so I've got lots of things on there, but there are the 2 drawings that you saw up on my icon. And in this case, I'm just going to put the normal title block in. The parts list just has a parts list above the title block, but you can play around and check that one out. So I click it, and you can see that it comes up in the window, and that's the area that we're going to be editing in a minute. And I simply say open. Now it's drawn to the right size, and we want it to attach to the 000 point. So if you've got a check mark up here so that you can specify it on screen, uncheck it. It needs to be blank in that box, and these need to be white with 000 in. Same thing on scale. It's drawn to the right size. We don't want to scale it up or down. Okay, so make sure that all 3 of these blocks are blank and just hit OK. Now you can see that our block pops into view. The only reason you don't see this little thing in the icon in the corner on the corner of this is because if we zoom out, you'll see it'll attach to it. Okay, but if it goes full screen, it jumps to the side out the way. It is right on that corner down there. Okay, so that's the title block, and as it comes in as a block, if I hover over it, you see everything will illuminate. So you shouldn't really worry about playing around with this very much, and do not explode this. Okay, you don't need to explode this block. If you want to draw anything else, like you want to put more revision lines on, you can draw it attaching things to this. Just draw them with normal lines, they will print the same. Okay, if you want to put any other information up here, just put it in with normal text, but just don't play with the block, because if you do, all of these editable attributes that I've put in here will basically come undone, and you'll have to populate everything with like a manual text. So what would be the difference? Well, let me show you the bottom part of this block where you might be interested in doing a bit of editing. So I'm just going to zoom this thing up. That's nice and big. So I'll move that to the side somewhat, because there's going to be a box pop up in a minute. So to actually edit the attributes, we come up to this box where we put the insert block in. You'll see that the tab next to it is edit attributes. So I'm just going to left click that box, the edit attributes, and then come down, because it says down here on the bottom, select a block, anywhere near this block, left click, and this is the box. So we get an enhanced attribute editor pop up, and you can see that there's a lot on this drawn sheet there, which is not going to change. But all of this hash marks, all these hash marks down there as to who drew it when it was drawn, who checked it when it was checked, etc. The drawing name, the drawing number, the scale, the sheet number, and the revision number can all be changed. So if you go down to the bottom, you'll see drawing name, enter drawing name, and it gives you that line of hashes that you'll see up there. Well, you can see them there if I click them like that, so it goes blue. I can just wipe over that little value there, and I can say table project, and I'll just put 1 there. And as I'm typing it in this box, it actually goes in at the right font size, on the right location, and just replaces where the hash marks were. I can do the same thing for the drawing number. Swipe over that value there and just make up a drawn number. In this case it's 2018-001, and you can see that it replaces that one too, and it will do the same for every other one of these attributes. As you pick them and change the value, it will stay there. Okay, so we can just say OK. You don't need to apply it directly, just say OK, and then we can save this drawing, and these attributes will be saved. So if you've drawn your part, and the easiest way sometimes to zoom this thing out is just to do Z space A again, but I'll just pull it down on screen. If you've drawn your part, you can insert this over the top of the drawing you've got, and then play around by moving the models into the right location so you get a good orthographic projection. If you put this in first, you just make sure that you draw all of your shapes inside of this, or you can just pan this off to the side, do whatever drawing you need to do there, then move them and arrange them in the box. Now to print this, and I haven't got a printer here at home, which is where I'm recording this video, that's capable of doing 17 by 11, but I can take you through the basic steps. Even though you don't have direct access to that printer, and we will probably have to do it through one of the terminals, either Ben's or mine. If you go to this A in the corner of the screen and click it, we're going down as far as print. Now we do a plot. That's what we're going to use. So we plot it, and then we select continue to do plot a single sheet. Now you select the printer, and I know that I'm going to screw up any minute now because I've only got the one printer and it's just normal A size. This is where we're not going to be able to see the 17 by 11. So what you do is you'll go down and pick the 17 by 11, which is the B size paper. On the printer, it will work because it's got B size paper in it. Mine hasn't, so it won't show it. Next thing we do is uncheck the fit to paper, make sure that that is done 1:1, okay, and then the display has to be to extents, that is the drawing extents, in other words the paper size we set. So if we click it to extents, so from there it will go to extents, then you'll find, you see like up here, we can center the plot and it will even it all the way around. It's just a slight overlap because of this size of paper. Obviously this is 17 inches and I can't change that drawing size on here, but at that point we should be set. We should be able to do a preview and you should see the whole of this drawing block centered on the paper. It's just a case at that point of hitting OK, and then the print will run. Okay, so that's how to use and how to insert and how to edit the block. And at some point we'll go over a lesson on how to customize these blocks for your own so that you can make your own with your own logos and things in as well. Right, so that's as much as I've got for you now. As I said, have fun, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.